I just got back from the first public screening of the Mario movie in my area, and I would have to say that the movie is good. It's a good movie. I'm gonna first give this spoiler-free review. This is how the paper cut's gonna work. It's gonna be spoiler-free review, then we're getting into spoilers, and I'll give you a spoiler warning right before we get into the spoilers. Visually, the Mario movie, let's start off with the visuals. Visually, the Mario movie was stunning. Like, the absolute, even the opening scene. I'm not gonna say any spoilers, but opening scene, visually stunning. You could see it, like, I even turned to my sister and asked, you can see that this is hundreds of millions of dollars worth of budget right here. All the characters in the Mario movie, I would say, improved over time. I'm not sure. I pointed out this one thing where about Peach's like model. I think they made Peach's models like, I think they made her face like wider. I think they made her face wider. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. Another good thing about the movie is that the way the characters interact with each other. I found that very fun about the movie. Just the way Mario and Luigi go back and forth with each other, and with Yoshi being thrown into the mix as well. I thought that was very fun. Speaking of Yoshi, Childish Gambino, Donald Glover. Am I saying that right? Donald Glover, right? He actually surprised me playing Yoshi. He actually surprised me playing Yoshi. Half the time, whenever I would just like hear like Yoshi, I would just hear Yoshi, you know, and I'd completely forget that Childish Gambino was playing Yoshi. One complaint I have about the Mario movie, some characters I would say were missing. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that. I'm not gonna get into spoilers who, but I feel like some characters were missing, and I was kind of disappointed because I was kind of looking forward to some of the characters. And another thing I want to discuss is Bowser Jr.'s voice. Bowser Jr.'s voice, at first, when I first heard it, I thought it was gonna get really annoying really fast, but honestly, surprisingly, it actually grew on me. Like quite a bit, like around like the halfway point, I was like, oh, that's pretty good. It sounds kind of like, because my sister pointed this out to me, that it sounds like a pitched up version of Jack Black's voice, and I genuinely thought it might have been after hearing it for a while, and I was like, oh yeah, that's actually pretty good. But then I just looked it up when I got home, and he's voiced by, one sec, where is it? He's voiced by Benny Safdie. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but he sounded like a pitched up version of Jack Black, which is perfect. Just like a higher pitched version of Bowser's son, you know, which would make sense because it's like a young Bowser in a way. And another thing that they focused on a lot in the trailer was Rosalina. That is another thing. I feel like they didn't utilize Rosalina's character enough in that movie. I thought she was a good character, but I feel like they didn't give her exactly fixing that exactly what they could have gave her. I'll say that much. Don't get me wrong though, she's incredibly powerful. And anyways, like in the beginning of the movie, she proved it, but it's just like we'll get into that when we get to the spoilers. I feel like this is almost detrimental to bring up a whole bunch of references and cameos inside the movie. I loved all the references and cameos, and but we'll get into some of those when we talk about spoilers as well. God, it's just so hard to say things without spoiling it. But story, pacing, let's talk about that. It's hard to ask for pacing in a kids movie, you know, because kids nowadays, their attention spans are like cooked as hell. Fucking cooked straight to the floor. Kids movies nowadays are just cuts to 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 cuts. It's just so fast paced, and I feel like it really makes the story rush. And I feel like that's where the writers probably struggled to put it together, because the movie did feel very fast paced. I feel like this movie easily could have been like 2.5 hours, but the hour 30, I cut it. I feel like maybe like an extra 30 minutes would help. At least an extra 30 minutes would have helped, like, fledge a little more with some of the characters I will mention in the spoilers. And if before we get into spoilers, I feel like it's better for me to get my rating before the spoilers, so that you guys who care about spoilers can get my input and rating on it without having to watch the spoilers. Because previous video, Project Hail Mary, I got into spoilers and then I gave my rating. But I feel like for those people who want to know what I would rate the movie without getting spoiled, I feel like it's better to put it in like the middle of the video before I get into spoilers. That way the people that have watched the movie and haven't watched the movie can both get my input of like just the overall score. I'm gonna go ahead and give the Super Mario Galaxy movie an 8 out of 10 pages cut. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and give it that. Now, let's get into spoilers, into why I give it an 8 out of 10. Straight up, let's talk about Fox McCloud's appearance in the movie. It was already not leaked. It was posted, dear God. I don't know why. I don't know who at Nintendo's PR team thought it was a great idea to I'm outraged about this personally, because when I saw Fox McCloud on the big screen, I was like, holy shit still, but I feel like it took like 80% of the wow factor from me just seeing him like on that poster, you know, that they sent out. I was like, oh, Fox McCloud will be joining in the Mario movie. Don't get me wrong, voice actor did an amazing job. They did an amazing job with Fox's model. There's no complaints about that. I just want to talk about Fox's screen time, other than being outraged of Nintendo blatantly spoiling his appearance to everybody. I think actor did great, as I just said. But the screen time, anytime he was on screen other than the first, like, introduction that he was in. First introduction that he was in was, like, the only time he had screen time. Other than that, any scene that he'd be in, because the movie is like so fast paced with cut to cut to cut to cut to, like I said, because it's a kids movie, kids attention spans, yada yada yada. I just covered that. He's only in the movie not as much as I thought he'd be or hoped to be. It really just felt like he just came and went. Like he just, since we're in spoilers, he came in at the Galaxy Station, whatever the hell it's called, where all the pilots come in and shit. That's where he came in. He came in, they went to the dinosaur place, and from there, that was his screen time. Yeah, they're being shot down, dinosaur place, and then to Bowser's planet. That was his entire screen time. He just got 3 sections of screen time. And even during the Bowser's planet part, that was like I said, maybe 30 seconds at most. He probably got like not even 10 minutes of screen time in that movie. Which is why I said that 30 minutes would help like flesh these characters more and interact more. And here's another thing about it that a lot of people were theorizing, that they were putting Fox McCloud in there to set up a Smash Bros. Movie. But in the post-credit scene, he just got up and left. So what are we supposed to do with that? And in another cameo, we got Mr. Game & Watch during like the final fight. Like Mario made Mr. Game & Watch with like the paintbrush from Bowser Jr. And I thought that was kind of funny, but then they instantly fucking killed him right after. So no Mr. Game & Watch. He was just a brief cameo. He wasn't going to be like a living character after. So I guess, I don't know. Maybe he's still out there somewhere. I have no fucking clue. But Fox McCloud came, saw, left. I don't know. So I feel like that would have been the perfect movie to introduce like this multiversal series in a way, not like Marvel way, but just to set it up for like to team up together for like a bigger threat. I guess they couldn't do a Smash Bros movie in a way. Maybe they can only use like Nintendo IP in a way for a Smash Bros movie, because I could see how they could have trouble in the multiverse trying to get the rights to make Street Fighter characters, DLC characters, all into one movie. That would be difficult in itself. And another thing I want to talk about, comedy and humor. Comedy and humor in that movie, honestly, it was pretty good. At least half of the jokes had me chuckling and laughing, you know? At least half the jokes. I would say maybe like 75% of the jokes. Some of them didn't hit, but for a kid's movie, I thought that was pretty good. Missed opportunity was when they were playing a song for Yoshi. They didn't play Childish Gambino's music. They played goddamn fuck. I forgot what the song is called. Give me one sec. They were playing "Hypnotized" by Notorious B.I.G., which is just a very overplayed Hollywood song, but it's still a good song. But I feel like that was such a missed opportunity to hear, okay, it's Childish Gambino on the fucking on the big theater screen. That would have made me laugh so much. But it was pretty funny seeing him on screen, because as soon as I saw Yoshi, I was like, it's Childish Gambino. So yeah, again, let's talk about the story. The story is basically starts off with Rosalina getting captured, and then she gets rescued in the end. I guess it's pretty cliche story, but it really doesn't feel like anything but that. But they did make it so that Peach and Rosalina are sisters. Like, I don't know if they're like biological or something. I didn't really quite catch that. That didn't really make sense to me personally. But yeah, they're sisters. So yeah. And then basically Mario and Luigi were gonna like hit like a two-man in the end. It was pretty hype. And a character I really wanted to see in this movie, which is what I was talking about, some characters were missing. Character I really wanted to see was Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong was so good in the first movie. I love Donkey Kong's character, and he was nowhere to be seen in the Galaxy movie. He was nowhere to be seen. Like, literally just gone. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, there's no reference of him or anything. No, there's reference to him. There's reference to him, but he's not in the movie at all. No screen time or anything. It's just like the Lumas just like impersonating Donkey Kong and how much they love him. Like, shit, me too. Now fucking show him, you know, give me fucking Seth Rogen. You know, like, come on, give me Donkey Kong. That's what I wanted. I literally told my sister right before the fucking movie started. I was like, oh man, I can't wait to see Donkey Kong. He wasn't in the movie, so that was pretty upsetting to me. I feel like it's also what made me go down in the rating as well, but mostly as a fair rating, I say it's good. It's a good 8, because mostly the visuals, characters, and the performance of these characters really push the movie forward, in my opinion. And then speaking of references to the game, I really do love how they use a lot of the game's audio, but it's kind of like a remastered in like some sort of way, but it's still the iconic audio. Like for the fire flowers that in the very beginning of the movie, you can hear like the fireball noises. Bum, 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 bum. It's super cool. And I think Chris Pratt did a better job in this movie voicing Mario than he did in the last. I feel I can really see him like looking in the mirror to himself, just saying, "This is me. I gotta be Mario." And he really. I feel like he did practice. Because I really heard like a Yahoo or two that really sounded like Mario. I really think he did a better job in this movie than the last one. I really do think he's actually a pretty good pick for Mario, other than the official voice actor, of course. I'm not really sure why they didn't use him, but that's the thing with like video game movies. They never do use the actual voice actor. For example, the Sonic movie as well. They don't. Not sure why they don't as well. I don't know. Same thing with One Piece Chopper. They don't use the actual voice actor, you know, even though he's just straight up CGI. I don't understand CGI adaptations of IPs where they don't use the original voice actor instead. I don't know. It's probably something. Maybe they just don't want to do it. I'm not really sure why they wouldn't want to, because they get paid a lot to do it. Or maybe the studio just doesn't want them to do it and they just choose someone else. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's not even on them. Maybe it's not even their choice. Who knows? Before I stray off too far off the subject of the Mario Galaxy movie, I did love the interactions between Bowser and Bowser Jr. I did like the interactions between the two. Bowser still having this soft spot for his son was very heartwarming to me. Like seeing Bowser have like this change in his heart was honestly, I didn't really expect it. I thought he was just gonna be like still like mean the whole time, you know, just like secretly, but there was genuine change to him in the beginning of the movie towards the end when Bowser Jr. kind of like snapped him out of it. But I feel like that good is still in him somewhere. And Bowser being a dad was very wholesome. Speaking of Bowser, Jack Black did not have a song, which I would have to say, thank God, because that would have been 2 months of torment worse than hell. Because if you don't remember the last song that came out in the Mario movie, Peaches, that song still haunts me to this day. Like it's it's not meant to be a good song, but people overglaze this song, you know, sort of like how I glaze Kanye, but it's deserving of the glaze. Speaking of that, go watch my reaction video. I have it right there. The weirdest thing to me was Bowser Jr.'s IQ in this movie. I feel like they made Bowser Jr. like the smartest person in the verse. Because how are you going to tell me he builds an entire planet with like an energy, like a cannon that sucks energy, because that's how they do that, because his dad made up this story to him when he was younger of how he's going to build this planet for him and his son to live on for all eternity, just to be happy and stuff. And he ends up building this entire fucking planet and this entire defense system and entire roller coasters. I didn't know he was a fucking engineer. I didn't know that. And then he builds this entire crazy defense system, which is where another reference comes in, where he says, Princess Peach and Mario, prepare to meet your maker, which was a Mario Maker reference, because it was really cool seeing it showed there's like 2D sprites like jumping through the level, and he would like adjust the level like it was a Mario Maker level. I thought that was very cool. That was probably one of my favorite like references in the movie. But there's a whole bunch of other references. Like some of the cameos felt very short, you know. Birdo just came in. I didn't really give a fuck about Birdo, but like she just came in, got rolled in like 2 seconds, and that's all Birdo got for screen time. I do still think this movie's better than the first movie, of course, because I feel like on top of what they did in the first movie, I feel like they expanded upon. And then at the very end of the end credit scene, there's two credit scenes, just in case you wanted to know, if you wanted to sit down and watch both of them. I recommend it. It's cool to see. The post-credit scene is just, as I said, just Fox literally leaving. He just gets his hyperdrive fixed and then just gets the fuck out of there. It's like no mention of anything. He just says, I'm gonna go find my crew. See ya. And then after that, the credits go again. And then at the very end scene, then I get like the warp planet or whatever it's called, where everywhere is connected to each other in the galaxy. Daisy makes an appearance, and I'm guessing that's going to be the focus of the next movie. Daisy and her kingdom, possibly. And then Luigi finding love after hitting the 2-man with Mario, with Peach and her sister. So I feel like the focus of the next movie is not going to be a Smash Bros. Movie, unfortunately. I think they're going to get their trilogy before they start establishing something. Maybe at the end credit scene of the third movie, we'll finally get some sort of notice for a Smash Bros. Movie. Maybe Mario goes into the mail and just be like, what's this letter? And then it's like the Smash logo, and it's going to be like Master Hand, like calling everybody from all different universes to come together. I think that'd be an interesting way of establishing that. I think it'd be cool. Still kind of upset about it not setting up for a Smash Bros. Movie. I feel like that's the direction I can't say should have, because I do love seeing this Mario verse, and I don't really wanted to see it go so fast. So I'm sort of happy that it did, but disappointed at the same time, because I feel like they shouldn't have. If they weren't going to, I feel like they shouldn't have showed Fox so early until like the third movie, or like any other like Nintendo IP should have just stuck in the Mario world until they were ready to expand upon everything. Because I feel like that would have been sick to just have a whole bunch of characters come in and like overstimulate the fuck out of me. Like I thought that would have been super fucking cool to see, you know. So yeah, that was my review on the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Story was okay. Visuals, beautiful. Acting, amazing. Childish Gambino as Yoshi, surprisingly good. And Bowser Jr.'s voice grew on me. And a lot of references. I think it's worth going to go see? Yes. Rewatchability? You could rewatch it, but it's not something I'd rewatch over and over again. Like, I'd probably rewatch it in the future when, like, the next one comes out, just to like refresh my mind on the last one, just to like get excited about it. But I feel like I wouldn't go out of my way to go just like watch it again right now, you know. I mean, like if I were to go with friends, yeah, sure, you know what I mean. Something cool to do with friends. I recommend you should go with friends. I feel like that'd make the movie experience a lot more fun. Don't go to the movies by yourself. Moral of the story. Anyway, so that's pretty much it. I just wanted to say, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. Consider liking and subscribing the video. It'll help me out a lot because I'm barely starting out, and a whole bunch more videos to come. Stay consistent, just like I am, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching the paper cut. See ya. I believe.